In November 2025, I bought this beat-up 93 CR500 with the goal of rebuilding it from the ground up and giving it away. After tearing the bike completely apart and restoring each component piece by piece, we've made some solid progress. But the wheels on this bike were in desperate need of a refresh. 33 years of abuse had these things looking rough. In the last video, I tore everything down and got the components ready for blasting. At first, I planned on saving the original spokes and rims, but after finding bent spokes, cracks, and dents in the rims, I realized it just wasn't worth it. Luckily, the hubs were savable. After a full blast and proper prep, I laid down a fresh coat of graphite black Cerakote, and after a toaster oven cure, these things came out looking exactly how I wanted. Now it's time to build them back up and see what a properly restored set of CR500 wheels really looks like.
Got my greatest.
It's time to build some wheels. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Aiden. All of last year I spent building my 99 KX250. So this year I decided to try one of those giveaway builds. I got a beat up CR500 off Facebook Marketplace. In this series we're building it up and I'll be giving it away to one of you. If you're interested to get entered to win the bike, check out the Flow One shop. I'll link it down in the description. But in today's video, we're going to be building up some wheels, and we got these beautiful SM Pro Platinum wheels out from the boys in England. Got in touch with these guys, and they were able to help us out on a fresh set of rims. I'm super excited to run these things. They're truly a masterpiece. I mean, they're so shiny, and I can tell that they're extremely durable. So we're gonna be lacing these things up, and I got something special for you guys towards the end of this video. Show you a little bit of things I'm working on behind the scenes for Flow One. But yeah, let's get right into it today, and let's start lacing these things up. So before I pop these bearings in here, I'm just wet sanding the bearing bores with a little 600 grit sandpaper. And just cleaning them up, getting the surfaces nice so those bearings will stay in there good. So it should look nice and smooth, just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get that as clean as you can. All right, so now we're gonna throw the wheel bearings in the hubs. Just to let you guys know, I am using Pro X bearings for every component on this bike. Pro X is kind of known to be the OEM equivalent brand out there, so I'm gonna be running Pro X bearings throughout the entire bike along with a ton of other components just because the quality is the best. We're gonna start off with the front hub here. Got the little DMT Amazon bearing driver. Just to make our lives a little bit easier, might as well heat up the inside here. I'm gonna lather this thing up with grease. So on this side, it's got this interesting threaded bearing retainer, and I had to buy this Motion Pro specialty tool to thread this thing in, so. Before putting these wheels together, I had to solve a problem. The 92 to 94 CR front hubs came with a cover to keep dust and debris out of the hub. But after 30 years, the original one on the bike was cracked and completely beat. I started looking for a replacement, but Honda doesn't make them anymore. And while digging into it, I realized something. This front hub isn't even from a 93. It's actually from a 91, which explains why finding the right cover was such a pain in the first place. And the only ones I could find were used parts on eBay. eBay in just as bad a shape, so I decided to make my own. As I've mentioned before, I'm an engineer by trade and I've always wanted to start designing my own parts. This felt like the perfect place to start. After doing some research, I picked up a Bamboo P1S 3D printer and got to work. Using a set of calipers and a CAD program known as Onshape, I modeled a new hub cover based on the original design. The first design, of course, did not fit perfectly, but as I kept iterating, adjusting the dimensions and tolerances along the way, I was finally able to get one to fit to my liking. After a final prototype, it was time to print a production-ready part in PETG plastic. 3D printer is ripping. CR500 front wheel hub cover. They don't make these anymore. The one we got on here is the prototype. Came out pretty good. I mean, this printer seems to print super smooth. Alright, so it looks like our part just finished in here. Let's take a look. Just pops right off. This part has like an overhang, so it builds on these supports. And these just peel off. Pops. The little flying saucer. Bottom looks pretty good. Can't even really tell it was printed. You guys know I had to add in the iconic Flow One tree logo there. If anybody is in need of one of these, I'm gonna post them on the site. Might as well put them for giveaway entries too. Alright guys, so it is now time to start lacing up these wheels. We're going to start with the front rim here. I got all the spokes laid out and the nipples. Again, if you guys didn't see, I had these custom made from Buchanan Spoke Rim out in California. They make all different sorts of spokes if you have a vintage bike. We're going to start off with the front wheel. It's important to take pictures of your wheels before you take them apart because you want to make sure you got the writing here on the correct side. Now this 21 by 1.6 is only on one side. I always like to match it to how it was originally, so the writing was on this side of the hub before I took it apart. But before we start sliding these spokes in, you're gonna want to coat them with the lubricant that they supplied. Buchanan specifically added this note to the package here, and they just want to emphasize that it's important to use their coating on these threads so they don't seize. And for those wondering too, these are stainless steel spokes and nipples. So on the hub, you have the holes for the inner spokes and then the holes for the outer spokes. So the inner ones sit a little bit lower and those should go under the outer spokes. So basically, we'll have a spoke here, 3 holes, and then a spoke here. We're gonna start with the inner spokes and those will be under the outer spokes, which kind of lay on top.
I got plans to ditch myself and get outside. Dancing women, throwing plates, decapitating their laughing gates, swirling chickens caught in flight. Out of focus, much too bright coming down. Shining teeth, game show suckers try.
For those wondering, there are 2 different spoke sizes for the rear hub. The longer one is the inner hub. It has to reach a little bit farther.
How you like me now? Pretty good. Going on, feeling strong.
That's pretty close, guys. Wow, this one already looks pretty true. We can make it better. Let's get these heights. Now with the bearings installed and the wheels fully laced, there's one last step before we can mount the tires, truing the wheels. From my KX250 build, I've been using this Tusk truing stand, and for under $100, it's a great stand for basic wheel work. To have the wheel in true, we want it to spin as straight as possible, with no side-to-side wobble or up and down hop. To begin the process, I go around the entire wheel and snug up all the spoke nipples evenly. From there, the nipples can be torqued, and once that's all done, it's time to actually true the wheel. The stand has an indicator that sits just off the edge of the rim, and as you spin the wheel, you can see exactly where it's out of alignment. If the rim starts to drift too far in one direction, you tighten the spokes on that side to pull it back in. And if it gets too close to the indicator, you do the opposite. Loosen those spokes slightly and tighten the ones on the other side. It's definitely a tedious process as you need to make small adjustments at a time, and getting the little wobbles out can be difficult. But once you start dialing it in, you can see it start to spin smoother. And when it finally spins straight, you know it's right. Good. Alright, so we got the front wheel here we're going to be starting off with. I'm going to be doing the poor man's tire install. I've always done it this way since I was a kid, and it's just the best way to put a tire on or change out a tire if you're on a budget. We're just going to be using a bucket, our tire irons, Speed Buddy, WD-40, and your air pump, and of course all the supplies that goes with the rim to install the tire. First thing, we got a rim strip.
Pretty good going on, feeling strong. I quit my job blowing leaves. Telephone bills up my sleeves. Choking like a one-man dust ball. Freedom rock slime ball. Talking and cold, we went down. Lit up the shack. Grabbed me a beer out of the sack. Everybody been over twice. Painting the walls, throwing some dice. Leaping up into the air, getting shot beyond belief.
That is sitting right about 13 PSI.
And they were thinking like this. Why don't throw in frisbees at the sun?
Alright, so before we finish these wheels, we gotta brush out the brake rotors. These are the ones that came on it, they're the originals. We might need to end up replacing them, but just for the looks of it and for finishing out the wheels, I'm gonna brush them out, and if we need to replace them, we can always get new ones. So let's clean these things up and show you guys the final product. Alright, so it is time to finish off these wheels. I got the brake rotors nice and brushed out. They're gonna do for now. You can see if they work well. If they don't, just replace them. But before we throw these on, I just want to show you guys something here. This Bolt steel frame Pro Pack. Having this kit when rebuilding an old bike is pretty much essential. It comes with all of the hardware that you need to rebuild any old bike. I have the Honda pack here, but Bolt makes hardware kits for all of the brands. Quality products. We're going to be cracking this thing open today to use the bolts for the brake rotors and the nuts and bolts for the sprocket. I just love how they're perfectly organized and fit to size. It comes with this little sheet here that tells you exactly what you need. So right here, sprocket, and the brake rotor bolts. Check out Bolt. They're helping us out with this build, so support the brands that support me. Thank you, Bolt. Of course, the little custom piece that happens to be for a 91 Honda. Didn't know that until recently when I looked a little deeper into the wheel hubs and pulled up some OEM specs. So let's pop these on and finish off these wheels. Super sweet. All the bolt, rotor, and sprocket bolts come pre-Loctited. It's time to draw the giveaway winner from the last video. I asked you guys what Cerakote accent colors would look good on the bike, and we're going to be giving away one of these 3 Cerakote testers along with the Flow 1 tag and the stickers. Let's draw the winner. 35 of you guys listed in accent color. Let's pull a number. 5. Bart Fry C9174 says bronze and gold. Send me an email at flow1shop@gmail.com. Thanks everybody for leaving a comment. So for this video's giveaway, we got a pretty cool package here. I got the Tusk Impact Driver. I had to warranty a bit on mine, but they ended up sending me a whole new kit, so I figured somebody else could use this. I have the first ever Flow 1 part made for the front wheel hub cover, as you guys saw in the video. It only fits a 90 to 91 CR, but just a cool thing to have lying around and a little piece of history. We got a set of the Flow 1 valve stem caps. To enter into this giveaway, I asked you guys before what parts or tools you think would be cool for me to make, and now that I've got the 3D printing set up, I want to narrow that down to what 3D printed moto parts you think would be cool to put on the bike. It's kind of limited to things that aren't structural, so I wouldn't do things like foot pegs or anything like that, but maybe like some master cylinder guards or something like that. Any advice is appreciated, so let me know what kind of cool parts you guys would like to see me make and put on your bike. So I'm just now finishing up this video, and I just want to say thank you guys for supporting me along this journey. Really just a guy with a dream always wanted to build some cool bikes and pursuing it and filming the process. So thank you everyone who's supported me this far. It really means a lot. These wheels came out absolutely insane. I'm really happy with how they came out. If you're interested to get entered to win the bike, check out the Flow One shop. And without further ado, let's check out these wheels.